Look, this stall has really fresh vegetables.
Oh, good eye. Let's get some green onions for dinner.
Look at these flowers. Aren't they beautiful? They are perfect for our new home. I think the yellow one would be perfect. Yes, that is the best choice. Thank you for helping us decide.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story takes you into a gentle, heartwarming moment of real life as a young CEO and Tieu Lac walk together through a traditional Tet market. From the early morning air filled with spring scents to choosing household essentials and Tet decorations, every step reflects the quiet joy of preparing a new home and welcoming the Lunar New Year side by side. It's not just a trip to the market, it's a journey of love, tradition, and the promise of a shared future. Through small gestures, simple choices, and unspoken understanding, the story reminds us that true happiness is found in togetherness and the warmth of everyday moments. If you enjoy stories about real life, healing, love, and meaningful journeys like this one, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel for more touching stories every week. Your support means so much and helps us continue bringing you heartfelt content. Thank you for being here, and let's welcome the new year together. The early morning air carried the unmistakable breath of spring as the young CEO and Tieu Lac stepped out together toward the Tet market. The sky was still pale, washed in soft shades of dawn, and the streets had begun to awaken with the quiet rhythm of a new day. This was not a rushed business trip or a carefully scheduled meeting, but a simple walk side by side, one that marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. For the first time, they were going to the market not as two separate individuals, but as partners preparing a shared home and a shared future. The Tet market was already alive with color and sound. Rows of flower stalls stretched out before them, overflowing with yellow chrysanthemums, delicate peach blossoms, and pots of kumquat trees heavy with fruit. The air was filled with layered scents, fresh herbs, incense, sticky rice leaves, and the faint sweetness of candied fruits. Every sound seemed amplified, the laughter of vendors, the rustling of red envelopes, the cheerful bargaining that only appeared during this time of year. Tieu Lac slowed her steps, her eyes sparkling as she took in the scene, while the young CEO walked beside her, carrying the quiet excitement of someone discovering happiness in the most ordinary moments. In his professional world, he was known for decisiveness, strategy, and authority. Meetings began and ended on his command, and numbers ruled his daily life. Yet here, in the middle of the Tet market, those titles felt distant and unimportant. He listened attentively as Tieu Lac pointed out the items they would need for their new home: simple household essentials, traditional Tet decorations, and small details that would make their space feel warm and lived in. Her voice was gentle but full of anticipation, as if each word was painting a picture of the life they were about to step into together. Tieu Lac had dreamed of moments like this, walking through a Tet market with someone who truly cared, choosing things not out of necessity, but out of love and intention. As she reached out to touch a branch of peach blossoms, she smiled softly, imagining how it would look in the corner of their living room, welcoming the new year with quiet grace. She spoke about tradition, about how her family used to wake early before Tet to go to the market, about the meaning behind each symbol of the season. The young CEO listened, realizing that this was not just shopping, it was a passing down of memories, values, and hope. They moved slowly, unhurried, letting the market guide their steps. The young CEO pushed the cart with an ease that surprised even himself. There was something grounding about this moment, something that stripped life down to its simplest form. No contracts, no deadlines, just the shared decision of what to bring into their home. As the sun rose higher, casting golden light over the market, he felt a sense of belonging he had rarely experienced before. This was a different kind of success, one that could not be measured in profits or achievements. Around them, families walked hand in hand, children clutched balloons, elderly couples paused to rest beside flower stalls. The market was a reflection of the season itself, a place where past and present met, where traditions were renewed each year without losing their meaning. Standing there with Tieu Lac, the young CEO understood that Tet was not simply a holiday, but a reminder of connection, of roots, and of the importance of sharing life's quiet moments with the right person. As they paused near the entrance of the market, the young CEO glanced at Tieu Lac and smiled. There was no need for grand promises or spoken vows. This morning, this walk, this simple act of going to the Tet market together already carried the weight of commitment. It was a silent agreement that from this point forward, they would face life side by side, starting with a new home and beginning the new year wrapped in tradition, warmth, and hope. As they moved deeper into the Tet market, the atmosphere shifted from gentle observation to purposeful preparation. This was where decisions became tangible, where the idea of a new home slowly transformed into something real they could touch and carry. The young CEO followed closely beside Tieu Lac, pushing the cart while she carefully examined each stall, her expression focused yet soft, as if every choice carried meaning beyond its practical use. They began with household essentials, the quiet foundation of daily life. Tieu Lac stopped at a small stall displaying neatly stacked bowls and plates, their surfaces smooth and unblemished. She lifted one, turning it slightly under the light, imagining shared meals in their new kitchen, simple breakfasts, late dinners, and moments of conversation that stretched long into the evening. The young CEO watched her thoughtfully, nodding as she explained why choosing new kitchenware for a new home mattered. To her, it symbolized a fresh start, a clean slate where every meal would be made with care and intention. Next came the teapot and cups, crafted from warm-toned ceramic. She ran her fingers along the rim of a cup, smiling at its weight and balance. Tea, she said softly, was not just a drink, but a ritual, a moment to slow down, to listen, to connect. The young CEO placed the set into the cart without hesitation. In that moment, he realized how much of life he had spent rushing and how these small rituals might teach him to pause and be present. As they moved on, the market revealed its unmistakable Tet spirit. Stalls overflowed with traditional foods, square bang chung wrapped in green leaves, jars of candied ginger and coconut, roasted seeds, and colorful sweets. The scents were rich and comforting, stirring memories, even for those who had long been away from home. Tieu Lac carefully selected each item, mindful of tradition and balance. She spoke about how each food carried a wish, prosperity, health, harmony. The young CEO listened intently, feeling the weight of these traditions settle into his heart. He carried the heavier bags without comment, his gestures natural and unforced. Each time Tieu Lac reached for something, he was already there, ready to help, to pay, to hold. There was no display of status or wealth, only quiet attentiveness. Vendors smiled knowingly, recognizing the familiar rhythm of two people building a life together. In their eyes, this was not just shopping, it was a beginning. They paused at a stall filled with red decorations, couplets, lanterns, and paper charms adorned with golden characters. Tieu Lac chose a simple set of calligraphy, explaining that words placed at the entrance of a home carried energy and intention for the year ahead. The young CEO held the decorations carefully, aware that these symbols would soon mark the threshold of their shared space. Nearby, a small peach blossom branch caught her attention. She selected it gently, cradling it as though it were fragile hope itself. Throughout the market, moments of warmth unfolded naturally. The young CEO laughed when Tieu Lac insisted on comparing prices, amused by her practicality. She smiled when he suggested buying extra items, just in case, revealing a side of him rarely seen in boardrooms. In these exchanges, they discovered new dimensions of each other, ones that could never emerge in formal settings or scripted conversations. As the cart filled, so did the sense of anticipation. Each item represented a future moment: tea poured on a quiet afternoon, meals shared during late nights, decorations glowing softly as the new year arrived. These were not grand dreams, but small, steady ones, the kind that formed the backbone of a lasting life together. By the time they reached the end of the market row, the weight of the bags was matched only by the fullness in their hearts. The young CEO glanced at Tieu Lac, realizing that happiness did not come from accumulation, but from intention. This was preparation not just for Tet, but for a way of living, one rooted in care, tradition, and the gentle promise of togetherness. As they slowly made their way toward the edge of the Tet market, the noise behind them softened into a distant hum. The cart was full, their hands occupied with bags of food, decorations, and household essentials. But what weighed most heavily and most beautifully was the sense of togetherness settling between them. The young CEO and Tieu Lac walked side by side, their steps naturally falling into rhythm, as if they had been doing this for years. The market exit opened onto a sunlit street where the morning had fully arrived. Golden light spilled across the pavement, reflecting off red envelopes and flower petals scattered by passing shoppers. Around them, families laughed, children tugged at their parents' hands, and elderly couples paused to catch their breath. It was in this ordinary, bustling scene that something quietly profound took place. The young CEO reached out and gently took Tieu Lac's hand, not as a gesture of ceremony, but as a simple, instinctive act of reassurance. In that moment, no words were needed. For Tieu Lac, the warmth of his hand carried a promise she had long hoped for. She thought about the years when Tet had felt incomplete, when the holiday arrived with noise and color, but lacked the comfort of shared purpose. Standing there now, she realized that Tet was no longer about what she had lost or endured. It was about what she was building. The future no longer felt distant or uncertain. It felt tangible, beginning with the home they were about to step into together. The young CEO, too, felt a shift within himself. He had attended countless celebrations, formal banquets, and carefully curated events, yet none had ever moved him like this simple walk away from the market. Tet, he realized, was not defined by luxury or scale, but by presence. It was about choosing to slow down, to honor tradition, and to recognize the people who gave meaning to every achievement. In Tieu Lac's quiet smile, he saw a future grounded not in ambition, but in shared values and mutual care. They paused briefly before heading home, allowing the moment to linger. The young CEO looked at the items they had chosen together, each one a small piece of a larger story. The decorations would soon mark the entrance of their new home, welcoming the new year with hope and intention. The food would be shared in moments of laughter and reflection. The household essentials would become part of daily routines, silent witnesses to a life unfolding one day at a time. Around them, the rhythm of the market continued, reminding them that this tradition had been repeated for generations. People came and went, but the essence remained the same: preparation, connection, and renewal. In this continuity, the young CEO found comfort. No matter how unpredictable life could be, there were rituals that anchored the heart. And now he was no longer observing them from a distance, he was participating fully. As they turned toward the road leading to their new home, Tieu Lac squeezed his hand gently. It was a small gesture, yet it spoke volumes. She was grateful not just for the things they had bought, but for the way he had listened, supported, and shared in every decision. Together, they had transformed an ordinary morning into a memory that would linger long after the decorations were taken down and the last of the Tet food was eaten. Their journey from the market to their home felt symbolic, like crossing a threshold. Behind them lay the past, with its struggles, lessons, and quiet resilience. Ahead lay a future shaped by intention, tradition, and the promise of companionship. The young CEO understood that success in its truest form was not something to be displayed, but something to be lived, slowly, sincerely, and together. As the sounds of the market faded completely, replaced by the calm of the road ahead, the young CEO and Tieu Lac carried more than bags of tech goods. They carried a shared understanding that this new year would not be about perfection, but about presence, not about grand gestures, but about everyday devotion. And as they stepped forward side by side, they welcomed not only Tet, but the beginning of a life rooted in love, tradition, and quiet, enduring happiness.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tiểu Lạc Review. Vậy là nội dung câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay thì đã kể về nội dung đó chính là việc CEO và Tiểu Lạc đã có một ngày đi chợ quê mua sắm đồ với nhau rất là vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Việc sắm đồ cho căn nhà mới của Tiểu Lạc là dự định của CEO và anh đã bàn với Tiểu Lạc và được Tiểu Lạc chấp thuận ngay. Tiểu Lạc ban đầu còn ngại ngùng vì cô không muốn ờ, ờ, vì cô không muốn CEO phải tốn kém quá nhiều tiền bạc và công sức vào mình, nhưng CEO có tình cảm với Tiểu Lạc và muốn làm tất cả những gì tốt nhất cho Tiểu Lạc, kể cả căn nhà cho đến việc sắm sửa đồ đạc trong căn nhà đó cho Tiểu Lạc. Tiểu Lạc thì cảm thấy rất là vui mừng và hạnh phúc và đã chấp nhận lời đề nghị đó của CEO. Hai người đã có một buổi mua sắm đầy đủ các trang thiết bị cho căn nhà mới rất là vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện CEO và Tiểu Lạc sẽ còn được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn đừng quên bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh, sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về câu chuyện sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Lý Tiểu Lạc Review vào lúc 17 giờ Việt Nam nhé. Tiểu Lạc and CEO, thank you so much. Please continue support their channel Lý Tiểu Lạc Review. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you soon tomorrow, everyone.